The main tip I have is to embrace the experience that you're having. Don't spend every minute thinking about how it's so much better where I live, or it tastes better where I live, or it looks better where I live.
Try to blend in some. I know people are very proud about being American and being a tourist, but do blend in. Don't try to stand out. Make sure you avoid, if there are any protests in the country that you're visiting, make sure you avoid those.
My main advice is always register with the U.S. Department of State, because if something does happen outside of, when you're outside of the country, they'll know where you are and they can help if anything should happen. They can help with you, they can help with your family. Recognize what's going on in the country right then, so you don't sort of stumble in and make, sort of awkward mistakes.
Make sure you've researched the transportation system, know how to get where you want to go, or at least rely on your hotel staff to tell you how to get there. Don't expect to make those kind of plans last minute, especially in places where there will be a lot of people. That's not a good thing. You might lose a lot of time by doing last minute travel arrangements.
Dress is obviously important. I use China as an example. Typically you would want to wear closed-toed shoes, partly because some of the issues associated with how the streets and the sidewalks are configured, very different from the U.S. Attire tends to be a little bit more conservative in many countries in the world than it is in the U.S., and you'd want to know that before you went.
Students who wear chacos. When you're abroad in Europe and you see students wearing chacos, you're like, oh, that's a bunch of American students. Just little things that are very custom and you see here, you're definitely not going to see when you're abroad.
On the language side, probably the classic example is that you have to talk louder if the person speaks a different language, which of course makes no sense if you think about it, but there is this human tendency to talk louder and louder when someone doesn't understand what you're saying. There are translator apps now that actually will allow you to put the phone up to a word and it will translate it directly into the language that you need it translated in. So being prepared in that way will help you avoid the tendency to want to yell or talk louder and louder to somebody.
When people travel, they're actually amazed how much people know 2 languages. And you will find a lot of people who do speak English. But once again, if you plan a lot of things ahead and you don't know the language, then at least you have your resources, you have your emergency numbers written down, you have your transportation information, you have all that planned out before you get there, just in case you do encounter a language barrier.
This is just the sort of stuff your mom taught you but before you went off to school. Be respectful, be nice, be patient. Travel takes a lot of patience. Be prepared to be patient and understanding of the differences.